I've always had a soft spot for those Japanese-style watercolor games, and this is definitely one of them. This is Path of the Teal Lotus here at Gamescom Asia Indie Wavemakers. Stay tuned, Tash Money here, your host, and with me I have a studio, Squid Shock Games.
Yeah.
Yes, Squid Shock Games, because it's SSS, coming off guard there. And they have one of the most awesome games I've seen so far, and definitely one of the most exciting. So with me, I have Christopher and Trevor. Why don't you share us a little bit more about your studio?
Cool. My name's Chris, and I'm the creative director on this project, Path of the Teal Lotus.
And I'm Trevor Youngquist. I'm the lead programmer.
Yeah, and our game, Path of the Teal Lotus, is a hand-drawn 2.5D Metroidvania.
Hand-drawn?
Hand-drawn.
Wow.
Hand-animated. Yeah, so you'll notice a lot about, we're really trying to get that handcrafted feel with all the textures and illustrations that we worked on.
The paintings. I love that part about the game. So let's try a little bit more. So Path of the Teal Lotus, just now you brought this guy on stage with us.
So this is the titular character, Bo. I don't know where to point.
That's Bo.
Okay,
this camera right here. Yep.
Yeah,
so
you know, cute character, good game. That's how it works.
Yeah, I saw that. The first thing I thought was, okay, I love this game already. You don't have to say much about it. So let's talk. Let's kind of go into the game after. After this, and let's talk a little bit more about Path of the Teal Lotus. What is the story about, and what inspired it?
Well, I'm half Japanese myself, so I've always been really enamored with all Japanese culture, whether that be like Japanese movies, Studio Ghibli, all the great anime that comes out of Japan, but also, when you dive a little deeper into the background of those games, there's a rich history of the folklore and the traditional stuff from Japan that really caught my eye, and especially the traditional art.
Right.
And we make a lot of references to it. So a keen, maybe art historian kind of person might notice that.
Yeah, and I think one of the most iconic things about these kind of games is that there's you know how Japan is just so proud of their culture. They're so eager to share it, whether through anime and video games as well. And how was the development of the story here? Were there a lot of references and history references made to create this game? Oh,
big time. Yeah, people who kind of are vaguely interested in Japanese culture will see tons of references, right? Our main thing is that we pull from the creature base of the folk tales in Japan. They're called yokai. Yeah, yokai. Yeah. Kind of like Pokemon in a way.
Yeah,
a good way to kind of explain that.
But before we go that, let's have a look at the game while we talk more about it. So, coming into this game, you told me that this game is not out yet. So how far along into development is this game?
So we've been working on the game for about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years, okay.
And we have quite a we're almost at that stage where we're going to start doing quality assurance for it.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah. Actually, looking back, it's a little quick. Yeah. But our planned release is somewhere in 2024. 2024
already? Wow, I'm so excited for this. And you can see, how you sit that there's a lot of animation, hand-drawn. I love I would say, the cinematic feel about it, the film grain, the beautiful hand-drawn, the lines, the textures. And, at first I didn't really understand it until I saw this particular scene.
Right. I think you hit a great point to notice that we wanted everything to feel really handcrafted, not extremely polished, and really get that paper-like texture, things like that. Yeah. So hand-drawn, we're really really into that. So this is the first area here called Crimson Bamboo Forest.
Right.
This is where Bo wakes up. So Bo's actually, looks like a fox, but technically it's a lotus flower that became sentient.
Right. So lotus flower that became sentient. So this, I don't know why, but I'm getting some Hollow Knight vibes from it as well.
For sure, inspired by Hollow Knight. I'm a huge Hollow Knight fan. And
you love that game?
Yeah.
It's a bit too hard for me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main criticisms. But definitely draw a lot of inspiration from that because that was one of the biggest Metroidvanias that came out in the recent history.
Yeah.
So, if you're not taking some inspiration from them,
I think a lot of games, the best games are always going to be inspired by the best. The best will always set that standard for better or even more different ways to approach storytelling.
Right.
And I really love how you guys have taken the best from the best and kind of like turned it into your own beautiful way. And again, I think we talked about a little bit about how I felt like, because one of my favorite games of all time was Okami, and you said there was a lot of like inspiration, pulled from it as well. Because when you look at games like Okami, they have a lot of inspiration from other Japanese, lores, other Japanese games as well, because again, it's something that is this kind of like hand-drawn watercolor thing is something that's very unique to the Japanese lore, and I love that you've used it as a medium to tell your story.
Right. Okami had such an iconic art style, and they really paid homage to ukiyo-e, like this old traditional woodblock printing and sumi-e ink style drawings from Japanese tradition. So we really took a lot of references from Okami, and we really wanted to make it kind of, you can see a lot of abstract pattern stuff that we do here.
I love that one.
Yeah, so yeah, we're standing on the shoulders of giants here. in a way, our game is quite unique in the way, like it differs from Hollow Knight in the way that it's a bit more platform focused.
Platform focused,
You're not going to see too much of it in the demo, but Bo's mobility is insane once you get like post-mid or like after mid-game.
Yeah.
So you'll be flying around the screen, and we tie the platforming into the combat.
Right.
Yeah.
So you tie the platform into the combat, right? Sorry.
Yeah, and you'll actually be seeing kind of one of the first main mechanics here is the jump reset that we do.
Oh, wow.
So anytime you're hitting a lantern or an enemy, you're going to be able to get another jump.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of a dash jump there from the jump,
Right.
which is kind of awesome. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about difficulty. I mean, we talked about just now how Hollow Knight was just not for me because it's a little bit too hard. So is this more toward those people who are hardcore Metroidvania players, kind of, or is it kind of like you kind of made it in a way where even casual gamers can hop into it?
I think it's definitely leaning towards more the casual than Hollow Knight, but I wouldn't say it's an easy game.
Right.
For sure, we are definitely want to have a nice challenge for people, especially with the boss battles that come into play. I would say it's probably easier than Hollow Knight. And also, we were concerned about, like, in Metroidvanias, a lot of players can be frustrated by getting lost and things like that. We wanted to make it a little bit more focused on always kind of knowing where to go, but you still have that feeling of exploration.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit more guidance in that way.
Right, so you have Asahi showing you around.
He guides you, he's there.
That's good.
And also we have a quest system that will kind of point you in the right direction.
Right, so you have the side quest and the main quest as well, I'm guessing?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So that's another thing that we really worked hard on is these really unique vignettes that with these quests, quest lines, little stories. So each area will have their own kind of storyline that happens, and you kind of have to like finish in that area before you can progress.
Oh, here's a boss.
Yeah, so this is the first boss in the game, the Kirikiru Bozu.
Wow, you can actually hit the fire things back?
You will be able to at a later point, yeah.
Right, so eventually, so the first part is just going to be more of like just dodging everything.
Yeah, here we're just testing out the player's ability to get out of the way and kill these enemies that they've been, practicing killing earlier in the earlier scenes.
I love the boss design as well. Like it's creepy enough that he looks sinister, but he's also kind of cute at the same time.
I lean into like making everything cute, even if it's supposed to be evil and sinister. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a crutch of mine, I think.
Yeah, and I also really like the jump mechanics. I think like just now you mentioned that it was more of like a mobility thing, but even when you kind of add it into the boss fight, it looks really fun to do and play. I mean, it definitely is not going to be super easy, but at the same time, I think that if I were to play this and I got past the first boss, I would be so excited at myself. Like, oh my god, look at the mobility I have. Look how fast I am doing this.
There's definitely a really bouncy, rhythmic quality once you start to understand the movement kit.
Yeah.
Of like, when do I expend this jump?
Right.
And one really big theme we are trying to play with is stay in the air as long as possible.
Oh.
So we try to encourage that in the player by giving them some benefits if they stay in the air.
Yeah.
Which will come into play a little bit later, but
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So like, let's talk a little bit more about like the music, because I am hearing a little bit more of like Japanese style instruments.
Yep.
So was this all made by your studio, or did you guys, reach out to a Japanese area to make the orchestra and stuff like that?
So our composer's name is Moises Camargo, and he's actually Mexican.
Okay.
And he has done an amazing job blending like traditional Japanese instruments with an orchestral kind of score.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear a lot of what's called the koto.
Yeah.
And the shamisen.
Yep.
Those are kind of like really staple instruments in a lot of the music, and different Japanese woodwinds. So you get that traditional music, Eastern music tradition in there.
Yeah.
But blended with an orchestral score. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with the motifs of the characters and things like that. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, I'm just listening to it. I think I love so far the sounds, the music. I feel like I'm very, very immersed in this game already. And again, you did mention that this is one of your first few builds, I believe?
Yeah, so actually this is the first time we're showing this today.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first area, but this area in particular, Uzumaki Cave that we just walked into, this is the first time we're ever showing this.
Oh, wow.
And we're...
That's huge!
Yeah,
That's
exclusive
a huge area.
right here. Yeah.
There's a lot of areas that you can walk around and go to, and coming into this game, I mean, like, given the fact that this first area is already this big, how many hours of gameplay can I expect from this?
Of course, it's going to depend a little on skill level, but I think like the average player might get like 8 to 10 hours out of
8 to 10 hours. I have a feeling I would probably go more, exploring, going to the side quests.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I'm feeling that's going to happen as well. So what about, like, say, your abilities? Like, am I going to be using these same sets of skills until the end, or will the abilities get better and stronger till the end?
Exactly. So in a Metroidvania, like, standard is to, like, unlock abilities and then unlock new paths that those abilities enable you to reach.
Yeah.
Let me talk about this real quick. So he just talked to an NPC that gave him what are called omamori in the game. And the omamori are basically passive enhancements for the character, so you can equip them, right?
Yeah.
We have about 32 right now.
That's
Don't quote me on that.
already a lot.
Yeah. So that's the first one that we get.
Yeah.
This is one's a standard magnetic pickup, so like anytime you're killing an enemy, you're getting currency off them, so it'll,
That's
attract
great.
it.
Yeah.
And so there's 32 of them, and they're all doing different things to enhance your character.
Yeah.
And then we unlock abilities by drinking tea. So you'll meet some characters
Who make tea.
And they'll share the tea with you, maybe not for free, maybe you have to do something for them first.
Okay.
And then it unlocks the abilities that we have in there. And they're all movement-based abilities to like give Bo its movement set.
I love that. I love hearing about that. Okay, so coming into this as well, you talked about the abilities, we talked about the music, we talked about the movesets. Let's talk a little bit more about the story. I don't think we've talked more about like what exactly is the story behind the game.
Okay, so without too much spoilers, Bo is what we call a creature we call a tentai hana, which is a celestial blossom. And one day, he blossoms in this the crimson bamboo forest that you saw in that cinematic, and he is taking part of a prophecy.
Okay.
That is kind of like passed down through generations in this land.
Okay.
And I think in the first scene, you saw him pass by a big castle in the background.
Yeah.
So the initial goal for the player is to reach that city and kind of investigate what's going on with that, we call it the celestial conduit that's coming from the castle, and seeing what's going on there.
Yeah, and I can see that this is a different type of boss, mini-boss perhaps?
So this is what we refer to as an arena, where a bunch of different enemies are thrown at you. And actually, so you can see one of the main combat features here, this Daruma doll that just shot out of the player and took a bite. That's Chomper.
Okay.
So we just received Chomper, and there's 8 different Daruma dolls that you can get that will aid you in combat. You can summon them.
Okay.
So Chomper's kind of the first one you get. He's like a little ranged attack. But you can also do a secondary attack where he bites mid-air and does some extra damage in that area.
Yeah, it looks very fun to do actually, that Daruma thing. I was just looking at it earlier and I was just like, okay, that is very, very fun. And do we keep that Daruma forever or just for the arena?
Oh yeah, you can. It's with you the whole game, and you can upgrade them as well with different.
No way! That is awesome. It gives you so much mobility. It gives you it's very fun to watch as well. So I love how you have approached this game. it's in a way, it's eerie enough that, because of the backgrounds and the colors. But because of that, so it's still very, very fun to watch because it's still very, very vibrant and very colorful. Of course, again, the character design, like even that thing in the shell there, it looks very awesome to look at.
Yeah, that's actually a reference to Japanese folktale. It's a little bit mysterious about what she's doing there right now. We can't understand her language.
Yeah.
But later on, maybe we can find out what she's doing there.
Right. So coming into this as well, I mean, you said 8 to 10 hours of gameplay. We've talked about the story. And what else can we expect from this game in the future? I mean, you did say one day this is going to be a plushie.
Yeah, maybe we do an anime or something. I think
anime.
I'm really interested in, as a huge anime fan, I think it might be interesting to do something like that. Definitely more games are. It's definitely possible that we do another game with the same IP in the future, but we're focused on finishing this one first.
Yeah, and you said another year and a half, perhaps?
Our mid 2024 is kind of what we're shooting for.
All right, so next year-ish, about a year from now. And do you have any idea when your demo would be out then?
That's still up in the air. The demo's certainly ready, but it's got to be strategic, right? So we're kind of feeling that out right now. It should be sooner rather than later, though.
Right.
And we are on Steam. We have a page, so definitely check that out.
So it's only on Steam, not itch.io?
But currently not, yeah.
Not yet.
Just Steam for now.
Right. Any plans on porting it to other platforms?
Yeah, so we're not allowed to quite announce exactly the specifics, but yes, we'll probably be on all major consoles.
Oh, that is exciting. This is very exciting. I don't know why, but recently I've been into mobile games. Not like the 3VPs, but the story-based ones. Mostly because, when my kind of job requires me to be outside a lot. So you don't want to bring your Switch out. You don't want to bring your Steam Deck out. So you're just kind of like, oh, can I play on my phone? That type of beat. So kind of hoping this does come to the phone, but I do understand, like, porting to a phone is difficult in
That's
itself.
a whole other world.
Yeah, it's a whole other world.
You kind of have to to with that in mind.
Yeah,
we
so
definitely did
that's a different thing. But if it does happen, I would be so excited. And even then, even if it's on, like, say, the Xbox, I would be really happy. I have a feeling that this will be so fun to play on controller, especially, this one here.
Yeah, we recommend controller. It's definitely made with that in mind. But I actually like playing keyboard and mouse.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's your preference if you think about it.
Yeah, everyone's got their preference.
I can only play on controller.
Right. Anyways, I think that this is a really huge game coming out next year. Guys, this is... What's the story again? Path?
Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. Yeah.
Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. Please, guys, do you have a booth here somewhere?
Yeah, we're right over there. Indie 26.
Yep, Indie 26. Go check it out. Wishlist on Steam if you can, because I feel like this is definitely something that has a lot of potential. Because in the day, I really want to support more of these games. It's been a while since I've seen a game that just does these Japanese folklore in a very, very beautiful way in terms of storytelling. The way you've done your storytelling with this medium is just phenomenal. And I feel like a lot of developers did try, but they don't necessarily understand how to play with the medium properly. And I think this is a great way to do that. And again, 8 to 10 hours of gameplay is a lot for this game.
Yeah, and probably more. I mean, we're always thinking to add,
I hope it gets longer.
Definitely stay tuned for more news about that, because I think we're...
Definitely, for sure. I think for now, that would be the end. That will be at the end of this presentation. Thank you so much, Christopher and Trevor, for coming on stage and sharing this very, very beautiful game with us. Honestly, it's insane because, the quality of indie games right now from Southeast Asia and Asia in general has just been phenomenal, and I am looking forward to this game coming very, very soon. So I'm going to wishlist it, like, right now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for hosting. You were great, yeah.
All right, is there anything you want to say to those who are excited about this game?
Thank you for all supporting us all the way through, like old fans, and for new fans, definitely come and join our community on Discord. Follow us on Twitter and wishlist on Steam, because it really helps. All
right, there we go, guys. So don't forget, after this, more indie Wavemakers coming right at you. If you think these are the best games you've seen today, most likely not. And we're going to have a quick break, and when we come back, more indie Wavemakers coming right at you.